Hey everyone, and welcome back. You know we love a good deep dive here, and this one is packed with history, social insights, and yes, even some humor because, well, you asked for it.
We're tackling the multifaceted world of canes,
Okay?
a journey that takes us from ancient battlefields to Victorian gentlemen's closets and ultimately to a powerful symbol of independence for the visually impaired.
It is fascinating how the perception of the cane has evolved over time.
Yeah.
It really showcases the adaptability of objects and how they can hold such different meanings in different cultural contexts.
Totally. So to kick things off, let's rewind the clock. Canes have been around forever, right? We're talking way, way back.
Absolutely. We're going all the way back to ancient times. Back then, canes were primarily practical, essential for balance and self-defense.
Self-defense. Now that's intriguing. I wouldn't have pictured a cane as a go-to weapon. What's the story there?
Well, imagine this. Early Korean monks traversing rugged mountain terrain, relying on those canes for stability.
Okay.
But these weren't just any monks. They were also skilled in using their canes for protection, against bandits or wild animals.
You're kidding. I never knew that.
So it's about practicality and protection, all rolled into one unassuming walking stick.
Exactly. And get this, these monks passed down their cane techniques to an elite group of young warriors known as the Hwarang, often referred to as flowering youths.
Uh-huh.
These warriors were trained in various martial arts, including cane fighting, using it for striking, throwing, and even joint manipulation.
Flowering youths, wielding canes. Sounds like something straight out of a martial arts film. It's incredible how the cane was so integrated into their warrior culture. But how did that translate into other parts of the world?
It's interesting you ask that because the cane's martial legacy, it continued to spread and evolve.
Okay.
In Japan, for instance, a martial artist named Uchida Ryogoro took traditional weapon techniques and he adapted them for the Western walking stick, creating Suteki Jitsu.
Wow. So even as the Western world adopted the cane, its potential for self-defense was still very much recognized and developed upon.
Precisely. We even see this happening in France as well with la canne de combat, literally meaning fencing with a walking stick.
Wow.
But this is where things take a really interesting turn. Ready to jump ahead a few centuries?
Lead the way. I'm hooked.
All right. Fast forward to the late 19th century. This is when the cane took on a completely different role as the ultimate fashion statement, particularly among gentlemen.
Wait, really? From a weapon to a fashion accessory, that's quite the transformation.
It is, isn't it? We're talking canes designed by renowned artists and prestigious brands like Tiffany and Fabergé.
Oh, wow.
Owning multiple canes to match different outfits was all the rage.
Wow, talk about a status symbol.
I can just imagine gentlemen coordinating their canes with their pocket watches and monocles, but at some point, I'm guessing, this trend faded.
You're absolutely right. By the early 20th century, the cane's reign as a fashion icon had begun to, fade.
Okay.
It became more associated with practicality again, used by, those with age-related ailments or needing assistance with mobility.
So while its fashion appeal declined, its functional value endured.
Yeah.
And that ties back to its historical use for self-defense too, right? Speaking of which, I came across a fascinating article from 1903 called The Walking Stick as a Means of Self-Defense, written by a certain Pierre Vigny. He really emphasizes how a cane can level the playing field, so to speak.
Vigny's work is a fascinating look at how the cane was viewed in that era. What specifically caught your eye?
Well, there's this one line where he states, with the cane, all inferiority disappears, and I assert most emphatically from my long and practical experience that a man armed with a cane and who has learnt how to use it does not fear a bigger and stronger man, though similarly armed. It's as if the cane can empower individuals regardless of their physical stature.
Vigny was a strong advocate for that sense of empowerment and self-reliance that the cane could provide. And he wasn't just talking about one-on-one scenarios either.
Really? What do you mean?
He goes on to say that someone who perfectly understands how to use his stick as a weapon of defense, he can hold his own against several adversaries.
Wow.
He describes, the cane's versatility, its ability to swing in all directions to protect the body. It's almost like a portable shield with a built-in, striking mechanism.
That's incredible. It makes you wonder if that inherent duality, a tool for assistance and a potential weapon, influenced the development of the white cane as we know it today.
It's an interesting thought. And while a direct connection is, hard to establish definitively, the timing is certainly suggestive.
Yeah.
The shift in perception of the cane coincided with the emergence of the white cane as a tool for the visually impaired. You mentioned wanting to learn more about its origins, right?
Yes, it's such a recognizable symbol today. I'm really curious about how it came to be.
Well, the story begins in 1921 with a photographer from Bristol, England, named James Biggs.
Okay.
After losing his sight in an accident, he found himself struggling to navigate the bustling streets near his home, feeling increasingly unsafe.
That must have been terrifying for him. Suddenly losing his sight and having to navigate a world no longer designed for him.
It was a life-altering experience,
Mm.
and it forced Biggs to find a solution to increase his safety and independence.
Right.
His solution was brilliantly simple, yet incredibly effective.
Okay.
He painted his walking stick white to make it more visible to others.
Such a simple idea. Yet it revolutionized the way people with visual impairments could navigate the world. Did his idea catch on quickly?
It took a bit of time for the concept to gain widespread acceptance. But the idea, began to spread.
Okay.
By the 1930s, organized efforts were underway in both France and the United States to promote the white cane as, both a symbol of blindness and a tool for safe navigation.
It's amazing how something so simple could evolve into such a powerful symbol. So how did White Cane Day come about? Was it around the same time?
White Cane Day, observed every year on October 15th, was officially established a bit later, in 1964, by President Lyndon B. Johnson.
Okay, October 15th, got it. That's really not that long ago when you think about it.
Right.
But it's one thing to have a designated day. How is it actually celebrated?
It's become a globally recognized observance with a variety of events aimed at, raising awareness and promoting the safety of white cane users.
Okay.
These can range from public demonstrations and educational campaigns to government officials issuing proclamations recognizing the day.
That's fantastic. It's a powerful way to, increase understanding and advocate for accessibility.
Right.
But I think to truly grasp the impact of the white cane, we need to hear from the people who use it every day, those real-life experiences.
Yeah.
And we found just the place to do that, Reddit.
Ah, yes, the front lines of lived experiences. What did you uncover?
We dove into some Reddit threads to get those firsthand perspectives, and let me tell you, there were some truly insightful and often hilarious anecdotes shared.
It's always fascinating to hear how people navigate the world in their own unique ways. I'm eager to hear what you found.
One of the most common themes that emerged was how much the white cane improves independence and safety. A user named SadCupcake3919 shared how it helped them redefine their own sense of independence, allowing them to safely cross streets and navigate new environments without having to pretend they could see.
That resonates with Vinny's earlier point about the cane eliminating inferiority. It's about empowering individuals to move through the world with confidence and self-reliance.
Exactly. And of course, there are some unexpected perks too, like what some Redditors jokingly call the white cane treatment.
White cane treatment. I have to admit, you've piqued my curiosity. What does that entail?
Think of it as the extra assistance and consideration you might receive because you're using a white cane. Things like airport assistance, getting first dibs on overhead bins, maybe snagging that prime ADA seating, or even getting to bypass some lines.
Those can be incredibly helpful, especially when navigating, potentially stressful or crowded environments. It highlights how those small acts of consideration can make a real difference.
Absolutely. But it's not all smooth sailing, of course. Some Redditors, like a user named Oven2988, express concerns about personal safety, particularly when walking alone at night. It's a reminder that while the white cane is a symbol of independence, it doesn't negate the very real anxieties that come with being vulnerable.
That's an incredibly important point. It's about recognizing that while the white cane is empowering, it doesn't erase the need for caution and awareness.
Exactly. Thankfully, within those same threads, people were sharing practical self-defense tips, like using the cane's elastic cord as a potential disarming tool, as a user named ShyThrowaway47 suggested.
It's a good reminder that resourcefulness and preparedness can offer an added layer of security.
For sure. But it's not all serious discussions about, self-defense and safety concerns. We also stumbled upon some absolutely hilarious anecdotes.
Okay.
Like people mistaking the cane for chopsticks or even asking if it's for pole dancing.
Oh, Mike, you're kidding. You'd think the white cane would be a fairly universal symbol by now.
You'd think. One Redditor, Snoo85465, even had a sales clerk ask if their folded cane was chopsticks. I mean, come on. It's clear that we still have a ways to go in terms of, awareness and understanding.
It seems our work here is far from done.
Never a dull moment, right? Speaking of misconceptions and humor, are you ready for some classic blind jokes?
Don't hold back. Let's hear them.
All right, here's one. Why don't blind people skydive? Because it scares their dogs too much.
Okay, here's another one. What did the blind man say when he passed the fish market? Good morning, ladies.
Oh my. These jokes highlight the absurdity of certain stereotypes and how humor can be a powerful tool for challenging those perceptions.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's about finding humor in the unexpected, like this gem. A blind man walks into a bar and a chair
Yeah.
and a table and a counter.
But jokes aside, these Reddit threads also reveal some of the very real frustrations that come with using a white cane. Things like people grabbing your arm without asking, offering unsolicited help, or even, making assumptions about your level of blindness based solely on how you look or move.
Those assumptions are a crucial point. It's essential to remember that blindness exists on a spectrum, and each person's experience is entirely unique.
You are absolutely right. At the end of the day, it all boils down to respect, understanding, and simply asking before assuming. It's about recognizing the individual, not just the disability. Couldn't agree more. It really is about, a little empathy going a long way. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the world of canes, from like those ancient warriors to modern day Redditors, what's the biggest takeaway for you?
For me, it circles back to that incredible adaptability of the cane. Throughout history, it's been a status symbol, a tool for, self-defense, an aid for mobility, and now this, like, potent symbol of independence for the visually impaired.
Yeah.
It really shows how objects can evolve alongside those societal needs and perceptions.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
About how our understanding of disability and accessibility is constantly evolving too.
The white cane in particular is like a powerful symbol that, you know, challenges us to look beyond those stereotypes and assumptions.
Right.
It encourages us to see the individual, not just the disability.
That's a message worth holding on to. So the next time you encounter someone using a white cane, maybe you'll recall this conversation, remember its history, the stories of like resilience it represents, and the importance of empathy. And that, my friends, is a wrap on this deep dive into the world of canes. Who knew there was so much to uncover? Thanks for joining us.